honor, we'd like to welcome to the stage Rob Vogt.
Hey, hello everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Well, there go my notes. As soon as I walked up here, all my notes just blew off the stand. Good start. All right, I know we had some audio issues. You guys in the courtyard, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, okay. That's encouraging. It's very important to be heard when the live auction's going. Okay, I am Rob Vogt, president of Vogt Auction Galleries here in San Antonio, Texas. We've been around for about 51 years. We've been associated with the Briscoe for a long time. My dad was the auctioneer for this event back in the early 2000s. So it's really nice continuity. We love our association with the Briscoe. You guys all look awesome, by the way. We've got the Vogt Auction crew here because not only in this sold-out event tonight, but we're also going to be taking bids simulcast all over the United States online. So a lot of folks bidding online. I think we have some telephone bidders also. So we're going to have some fun. We have 25 pieces. 25 pieces. You guys can hear me? Everyone's having a good time. That's good. 25 pieces by 25 of the most talented and exciting artists working in the Western genre today. Okay, put together by our fabulous curator, Tim Newton. Tim's over here, and Tim's going to be adding some of his great content. Nice hand for Tim. Thanks, Tim. And all the artists, of course. You know, at Vogt Auction, Texas and Western art is near and dear to our heart. Our fine art specialist, Natalie Chapin, is here. And she and her whole team have sold about $4 million in Texas and Western art in the last year. So this is really a special association here for the Briscoe. And as I say, we have 25 pieces, and they're all in your catalog. The catalog looks like this. Quick note, there's a price list. The price list is not in order of what we're going to be selling tonight, okay? So this is your book. This is your book, you guys out here in the courtyard, the black book with the silver on the top, okay? So this is what the order is going to be. Sorry about the audio issues. I will try to avoid that happening, that feedback, okay? So this is going to be the order we're going in, all right? Couple of rules. So I am auctioneer's license 15958. There is a 15% buyer's premium added to the hammer price of everything sold tonight, plus a 3% credit card fee. We're happy to say that that is the lowest buyer's premium in the entire industry, okay? 15% only. Now, the online bidders, that's a 20% buyer's premium, so definitely keep those fees in mind when you purchase and when you're bidding, right? If you're a winning bidder tonight, you can go to the payment station here at the museum. If you win online, we're going to email you an invoice, okay? So either way, but this is the reason we're here tonight. The live auction is to support the Briscoe's incredible mission of preserving and exhibiting the art and artifacts that share the stories that shaped the West. Good luck to everybody. We're going to start out with lot number one. Lot number one, and it's Don Olsey, a very familiar name, Don Olsey, and this is called Watching the Column, and it's coming out. Here it is. Okay. Oh man, is that gorgeous. Don Olsey's piece. Here it is. You love to start with a winner. And this is definitely that. As Tim would say, every piece tells a story. There's a narrative to this story. So this is Don's piece showing these Plains Indians sitting up there in the highlands. And it's called Watching the Column. So what are they watching? What's the column? It's a column maybe of, I don't know, U.S. cavalrymen? Is it a column of buffalo? Is it a column of something else? We don't know, but you see the incredible detail that Don puts in all of his canvases. And again, you guys out in the courtyard, we're going to have the art coming out there too, and we're going to have spotters everywhere taking your bids. By the way, I should have said that. We have spotters taking your bids. Just raise your hand, raise your bid paddle. I don't care. Yell at us. We're cool, okay? So this is, again, lot number one. Don Olsey started our auction last year. He recently hit a new record for a canvas by him at Coeur d'Alene, $167,000 at Coeur d'Alene. Nice, nice achievement there. That's a huge thing for a working artist. Yes, you can give him a hand. Okay, we do? All right, well, let's start the bidding. Why not? What do we got? 8,500. All right, well, that's a start, I guess. How about 9,000? Now, here we go. On lot number one, everybody, the Don Olsey, watching the column at 8,500 now, 9,000, 9,000. You guys out in the outlight over in the courtyard can bid. I'll take your bids right now. Just want to make sure I don't get too much feedback. Oh, that's better. Good. 9,000 I have. Now 9,500 back over here. How about 9,500 or online or in the room at 9,500? 9,000 bid now 9,500. At 9,500, just raise your hand. I have 9,500 here. Thank you, sir. How about 10,000 even? 10,000 I have. How about 11? Back to you. Or 11,000 back to online or 11,000 back in the courtyard at 11,000 anywhere. Would you like 11? He's in the lead. How about 11,000 next for this wonderful Don Olsey at 11,000? It's a great price, guys. Take a look at 11,000, 10, now 11. 11, I have a bid. Thank you. Now 12. Where was my bidder over here? How about 12,000? 11,000, now 12,000. At 12,000 here. Look at this beautiful canvas, guys, at 12,000. 11,000, now 12,000. Again, easy to bid. Raise your hand. At 12,000, y'all. 11, now 12,000. Who else wants to bid on this beautiful piece? At 12,000, I have a bid here. Thank you very, very much. We're out in the courtyard at 12,000. The leader right now. How about 13? At 12,000, now 13. 13, we have a new bidder over here at table number 2. 13, ma'am, you're in the lead. How about 14? 13, now 14. Back to you, sir. Would you like 14? He said yes. How about 15? 14, now 15. We have a new bidder over here. 15, thank you, Justin. How about 16? You're both out. How about 16,000? Thank you, gentlemen. How about 16? You're out. Would you like to bid one more time? 16. Hey, I've got it out in the courtyard. How about 17? 16, now 17. Now you're both out at 17,000. 17,000 where? 16, now 17,000. That might take it home. At 17,000. Anyone else is 17,000. 17,000. I don't think we're done yet. 16, now 17,000, guys. At 17,000. 16, now 17. At 17, we have a new bidder. Thank you very much. Now he's in the lead at 17,000 on the beautiful Don Olsey, lot number 1. All right. How about 18? What do you say? One more time? Might take it. Might take it. 17, now 18. I'll do a cut bid. Would 17.5 help? Yes. Thank you. How about 18? Hey, that worked. 18,000. 17.5, now 18,000. How about 18,000 over here? At 18,000, would you like 18,000, sir? Right over here at table number. I can't see your table number. Doesn't matter. 18,000, he says yes. Okay. How about 18.5? He says no for sure now. Okay, appreciate your bids. Thank you for your help. Anyone else at 18.5, guys? 18.5, he's back. He's back. He's back. How about 19? Another $500, no big deal. 19,000, 18.5, now 19. All right. How about 19.5? At 19.5, all right, appreciate your bids. At 19.5, anyone else? Or guys online or on the phone at 19.5. At 19, now 19.5 here on lot number 1, the Don Olsey at 19.5 once, 19.5 twice. I don't want to miss you, guys. We only have 25 pieces at 19.5. What do you say? Anyone else at 19.5? At 19.5, fair warning. Are we done? I think so. Sold! $19,000. I believe the winner over here, $19,000. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. That was a great start. All right. Lot number 2. Is this what? Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I needed. What's that? What is your paddle number? That's an important piece of information. What was your paddle number over here? He's got 110. 110. All right. Thanks again. Okay. Lot number 2. Here we go. Yes, ma'am. Oh, Don. Don. Can we introduce Don Olsey? Don Olsey, you want to take it? You want to stand up? Just take an acknowledgement. That was a heck of a buy. Great piece, great artist. Don Olsey, everybody. Thanks for being here with us. I should have said, we have so many of these artists here with us in the room. They've been in the gallery. Of course, tomorrow night we have the grand exhibition, and just meeting the artists is such a special moment. We're going to move on. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you, Michelle. All right, lot number 2, this is Sean Cameron's Reminiscing. Sean Cameron, a returning artist to the Night of Artists. This is a West Texas piece, I think. Kind of a temporary moment in an eternal landscape. You look at what's happening here. This is probably someone who's been part of a landscape, a lifestyle for generations, and yet has taken a moment here on the horse to look over this beautiful landscape. You have these pink and blue clouds in the blue sky, the pink and white clouds, and you have this sort of rainstorm here in the distance, and it's just a beautiful piece. I'm telling you, this wind is going to be the death of me. I need like a little, you know what? Everybody in the room got a paperweight. Hey, look, Sean Michael Chavez, artist at the Night of Artists. Thank you, sir. He's giving me his paperweight to borrow. That is clutch. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Talk about the perfect gift. Thank you. Okay. As I say, this is Sean Cameron. She's a rancher. This is just a great, sort of Again, meditation on the passing of time, a beautiful, beautiful piece. And we'll start off online at 3,500, now 4,000, now 4,500, now 5,000. Okay, now 5,500, go ahead, 5,500. Now 6,000, 5,500, now 6,000. Well, that went quick. At 6,000, 5,500, now 6,000. Can you do it? At 6,000, 5,500, now 6,000. At 6,000, take any bids out here in the courtyard at 6,000, guys. On the Sean Cameron, again, it's called Reminiscing. It's a beautiful canvas, guys. 5,500, now 6,000. If you want a bid, just put your hand in the air, and we'll take your bid. Dalton over there will spot your bid at 6,000 even. That's a great price, guys, on a Sean Cameron. 5,500, now 6,000. You guys online can bid if you like. At 6,000. I can't believe 6,000. We have a bid, online bid. Now 6,500. Now 7,000. All right, at 7,000 next. Now they're out. At 6,500, now 7,000. New bidder over here in the room. Thank you. 7,000 here. And now 7,500 next. 7,000 in the room with the gentleman. He's in the lead now. Now 7,500. 7,000. Now 7,500. It's a beautiful piece, isn't it? At 7,500, guys. 7,000. Now 7,500. At 7,000. Now 7,500. Anyone else out of here at 7,500 on the Sean Cameron, lot number 2 at 7,500. I'm so glad the audio is more or less, oh, sorry, guys. It's more or less cooperating now. 7,000, now 7,500, we have a new bidder. Would you do 8,000? That might take it to 8,000. Gentleman in the room at 8,000. LaShawn, 8,000 is bid. Thank you, sir. With buyer number 241 at 8,500 next. 8,000 in the room, now 8,500. Anyone else online? At 8,500 once. At 8,500 twice. Fair warning, are we done? At 8,500? At 8,500, don't want to miss you. At 8,500, selling. Sold. $8,000 here in the room. Thank you. What was your bid card? 241. Thank you very much. 241 here in the room. Lot number 3, and I know another artist that's here with us at the Night of Artists, Greg Beecham's. A closer look. This is a multiple Prix de West award winner. And what's amazing about this piece is that he has captured something that's incredibly difficult to capture from any artist. It's that moment when you see the mountain lion has put his paw in the water, probably looking for fish, some prey of some kind. And that moment where the water sort of chaotically splashes up and is caught with the droplets in the sunlight. And he has absolutely nailed that moment. It's an incredible piece by a great artist, Greg Beecham, again here at the Night of Artists, the 25th annual, and we'll start off at 4,000. Now 4,250. Now 4,500. Okay, at 4,500, 4,250. Now 4,500. 4,500. Get my attention. 4,500 over there. Thank you, Rick. Now 4,750. Now 5,000. 4,750. Now 5,000. He's in. Now 5,500. 5,000. Now 5,500. Again, take bids out there. Dalton will take your bid out there in the courtyard, guys. At just 5,500 here. Lot number 3, the Greg Beecham at 5,500. 5,000. At 5,500. Anyone else? At 5,500, we have a new bidder here at the front table. Now 6,000. What do you want to do? You want to bid? Now 6,500. Up to you. Or anyone else. 6,500, we have a new bidder over here. Right ahead of you. Would you do 7? I mean, it was like boom, boom like that. Would you do 7? 7, sure, why not? Now 7,500. All right, now 8,000. On the Greg Beecham, you can, of course, get back in. Anyone can bid at 8,000. She said no? Okay, 8,000. Fair, yeah, point at her, yes, sir. At 8,000, 7,500, you're in the lead. Now 8,000. You want 8,000? Well, you have a new bid over here. Now 8,500. He's back in the lead. 8,500. All right. Now 9,000. Hey, it's like an auction. 9,000. 8,500. 9,000. That might do it. 9,000. Yeah, why not? How about 9,500? No, 9,500. Well, it didn't. How about 10,000? At 10,000 even. On a beautiful Greg Beecham at 10,000. Again, just captures that moment with the light. At $10,000. At 9,500, gentleman here is in the lead. How about 10,000? I don't want to miss you at 10,000. Or anyone online, or anyone out in the courtyard at 10,000. At 10,000 once. Are we done? 10,000 twice. Fair warning. All right, I'll take your word for it. Selling. Sold. 9,500 over here. You win. All right. He said, yeah, I know. Is it 337? 337, paddle 337. Thank you. All right, lot number 4. All right, William Haskell. That's a big name, guys. William Haskell. Yeah, all right. Look at this piece. Look at this artwork. I'm telling you, when you guys, I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone, when you go up to the second and third floor, you can't believe the talent on display. You can't believe the work. You can't believe the amazing ability to do that on a piece of canvas, right? It's amazing. And this guy is as good as it gets. Great contemporary Southwestern artist, sold at major auctions, Santa Fe, Scottsdale, Coeur d'Alene, Briscoe. You know, and we went in the Hendler gift shop, and it was like, this guy's got scarves. He's got reproductions. I mean, this is like almost a franchise. So this is a piece called Where the Frost Meets the Firelight. And you see, you know, typically dramatic scene here by Haskell. You have the figure in the front sort of bundled up against the elements, the adobe pueblo there in the center, that beautifully stylized cactus, and then, of course, the incredibly dramatic skies. This is an artist. This is investment grade art. There's no question about it. This is an artist that has a lasting legacy. So, on the William Haskell, who'll start us off at 10,000? Oh, I have multiple hands in the air. How about 11,000? 11,000. I had about four hands in the air. How about 11,000? I don't have any bids right now. 11,000. We'll start off. Would you do 11? 11. All right. She said yes. Thank you. Now 12. Now we can bid at 12,000. Thank you for starting the bidding. 11,000. Now 12,000. 12,000 out here. Now 13. At 13, back to you. 12. Now 13. At 13, you can all bid, guys. 12, 13. New bidder over here. Now 14. You're both out. At 14, 13, now 14, guys. 13, now 14. What do you say out here in the courtyard at 14,000? Look at this amazing, beautiful canvas, guys, at 14. At 14, where the frost meets the firelight at 14,000 only on the William Haskell. 13,500, I'll do it. I'll do it. We'll do a cut bid. How about 14,000 over here? You guys are, all three of you bidders are out. At 14,000, does anyone want to jump in on the Haskell at 14,000? Up to you. At 14,000, 13,500 is bid. 14, he's back. Now he's in the lead again. Thank you, sir. How about 15, guys? 14 now 15,000. 14 now 15,000. At 15,000, who wants to bid on the Haskell at 15,000? 14 now 15,000. At 15,000, again, think about it. This is investment here, guys. At 15,000, there's no way this goes down in value. At 15,000. 14 now 15. Fair warning at 15,000. Anyone else? I don't want to miss you. Are we done? Okay. Selling. So, I feel like this guy might shoot me. Are you packing, sir? Are you packing? Are you coming heavy? Would you do 14.5? Rick, 14.5, she said yes. It's for charity. How about 15? 15, that's how you do it. Now 16. That's 16,000. Oh my goodness. Well, fair enough. Appreciate that bid. All right. Now we're at 15. Anyone else is 16 before I say the full word sold at 16,000. Selling. 16,000. Uh-oh, we're not done yet. 17. Can you answer? You can answer yes or no. Ball's in your court. 17, he says, heck yeah. How about 18? At 18,000. Yeah, but you said no before. I can't trust you at all. Who's the sponsor of that table? At 18,000. 17, now 18,000. Fair warning, all right? At 18,000, are you sure? 18,000, okay, thank you very much. Sold 17,000 over here. He got it, and he earned it. Yeah, he's gonna stand up. Oh, here he comes. Wow, congratulations. What was your bid, Pavel? 26, thank you. Wow, that was great. Okay, lot number 5. Okay, this is another returning artist, guys, to the Night of Artists. This is lot number 5 by Brandon Bailey. It's called He Talks to the Smoke. You can see why it's called that. Brandon Bailey, everybody. Beautiful, beautiful art. He's actually our only Native American artist. He's a Chippewa. He's out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. And of course, here in this canvas, he's paying tribute to his Native ancestry. What I think about is so interesting is that you have the details, including the sort of, I think it's abalone maybe there on the chest plate, right? And then you have these primitive sort of almost pictograph hide paintings on the back behind the gentleman. So, very interesting piece, and I love the frame. We don't often talk about frames. This frame is so perfectly complementary to this piece. Again, it's Brandon Bailey's He Talks to the Smoke. What do we have? $2,500, $2,750. How about $3,000? Okay, here we go. At $3,000 here on roll number 5, everybody. $3,000 I have. Now $3,250. $3,000 now $3,250. Back against you at $3,250. $3,000 now. I'm in the room at $3,000 asking $3,250 next, guys. You guys can bid out here. Again, lot number 5. It's a beautiful piece. And again, beautifully framed. At $3,250, $3,000 out $3,250. At $3,250, $3,000 out $3,250. Anyone want to bid at $3,250 on the Brandon Bailey? $3,250. At $3,000 out $3,250. Yes. How about $3,500? All right. How about $3,500 next? I'm back in with her at $3,500. Back in the lead. Now $3,750. Yes. How about $4,000? At $4,000, she's back in the lead. Now $4,250. At $4,250, they say no. Anyone else at $4,250? Still a great price, guys, on the Brandon. $4,250. We have a new bidder. A new bidder here at table 10. Would you do $4,500, ma'am? Another $250 on an original. $4,500. We have an online bidder. How about $4,750? That's exciting. At $4,750, $4,500 at $4,750. At $4,750, you're both out. $4,750. Everybody can bid at $4,750. Here, $4,750. Thank you. Now $5,000. That's why we have spotters. Thanks, Rick. At $5,000, $4,750 at $5,000. Anyone else at $5,000? $5,000 here. She's back in the lead. Can you answer at $5,500? Yes. Now about $6,000. At $6,000, $5,500 at $6,000. Oh, well, come on now. At $6,000, that squash blossom cost $6,000. All right, anyone else at $6,000? It looks great. $6,000, $5,500 now, $6,000. Fair warning is $6,000. You guys online, you better jump in right now. At $6,000. Anyone else at $6,000? Guys out here in the courtyard at $6,000. What a beautiful night. I'm telling you, man, the weather really worked out. At $6,000 here on the Brandon Bailey at $6,000. Fair warning at $6,000. Don't want to miss you at $6,000. Dalton will take your bid out in the courtyard. Are we done? Sold. $5,500. You win. You win. Thank you very much. What was your number? $350. Thank you. It's good to see you tonight. Okay. Lot number 6. Oh, man. This is a big deal. Okay? Sean Michael Chavez, who's here tonight with us. There he is, right here. This guy. I mean, you know, you talk about, he looks the part. This is one of the hottest and most meteoric rises in Western art, sort of, infuses an impressionist work with a contemporary sensibility. This is an incredible piece. It's a nocturne, sort of in the style of Frank Tandy Johnson. I say it's a little bit in that tradition. But we look at a vaquero who's coming down in the middle of the night, the hill, the lone rider and the horse. I think I'll tell everybody, just had a canvas sell at Scottsdale, right? Scottsdale for $46,000. Always sells out. Hot artist here. Okay. And you're returning. You had a piece last year, so appreciate that. Okay, on the Sean Michael Chavez, we have $10,000, $11,000, now $12,000. At $12,000, here we go. At $12,000 next. At $11 now, $12,000. Now you can bid if you like at $12,000. $11 now, $12 I have online with Natalie Chapman. Now 13 in the room. Now 14 back against you. No hesitation there. Now 14, 13, now 14. At 14,000, 13, now 14 back online. Now 15 back in the room. Now 16 back against you. I've got 3 bidders at 16,000, 15 now 16,000. It's just a gorgeous piece. 16 back online. Thank you, Natalie. Now 17. Here we go. At 17,000, 16 now 17,000. You're both out. 17,000, 17,000. New bidder. Thank you, Justin. We have a bidder here in the room. How about 18,000? Uh-oh, 18,000, 17 now 18,000. It's a gorgeous piece, guys. And again, investment grade art. There's no question about it. At 18,000 back online. Thank you, Natalie. Now at 19. Love the enthusiasm. At 19,000, 18 now 19. 18 now 19. You guys, 19, we're back in the room. We're back in the room. How about 20,000? Nice round number there. 20,000 on a beautiful, back online. 20,000, now 21,000. At 20 now, 21,000. Let's do it. At 21,000, this guy always sells out. There's no question about it. So get in right now. Here it is. At 21,000, what do you want to do? 21, you want to bid. Now 22. At 22,000, 21 now, 22,000, guys. Here we go. At 22,000, 21 now, 22. Back online with Natalie Chapman. How about 23? That might do it. 23,000, 22 now, 23,000. What do you want to do? At 23,000, 22 now, 23. What would this cost in the gallery? Think about it. 23,000. The money's going to the Briscoe. 23. Want to try one more time? You do. Now 24. 23 now, 24. At 24,000, 23 now, 24,000. Appreciate your bids. Thank you. You're in the lead. How about 24? Back online. Need 25. I got 24, but I need 25. At 25 to take it home. 24 now, 25. He says yes. Now 26, we'll stick with $1,000, make it nice and easy. 25 now, 26, at 26,000. The leader is still in the room at 25 now, 26,000. Again, everyone else out in the courtyard, we see you, 26,000 we have online. We're not done yet. Now 27,000, 26 now, 27,000. At 27,000, 26 now, 27,000. At 27,000, just an absolute rising star here. in the Western art market at 27. Up to you. Yes. 28. We're in the room at 27, 28. Does the online bidder want to bid one more time at 28, or anyone else at 28,000? The auction's not over yet. 28,000 here on the Sean Michael Chavez at 28,000. Guys, out here in the beautiful courtyard at 28,000. This is lot number 6, 27. Now 28. Anyone else at 28,000? See so many familiar faces. Really appreciate you guys. Do we have a bid? 28,000. All right, now 29. At 29,000, 28, now 29. I know he's saying, put me out of my misery. 29,000, 28, now 29. Oh, he's texting someone. 29,000 at 29,000 at 29. And fair enough. 28, now 29. At 29. Anyone else? You guys can all bid at 29,000. 29, 28.5. 28.5. I'll do it. Yes, 28.5 is bid in the house. How about 29? That's a guy that knows his auctions. 28.5, cut bid. Now 29, we'll do it at 29. 28.5, now 29 at 29,000. We're on the floor at 28.5. 29 next. I'll give it just a moment. 29 once. 29 twice. 29 is bid. Can we make it around 30? I bet they won't bid again online. It's one of those psychological barriers. 30,000. Easy for me to say. At 30,000. Hell yeah! See, he took a look at the painting, then he bid. 31. At 31,000, I'll give him one more moment, and then I'll put him out of his misery. At 31, twice, yes or no, at 31,000, selling. Sold over here, 30,000. Woo! Look at this. There he is. That's your guy over there. What? I'm sorry, what was your bid paddle one more time? 384, 384 the winner. There's your guy. Thank you, Sean. There's Sean right there, everybody. Isn't that fun? It's so great about the Night of Artists. You have the artists here. It's so cool. All right. Here comes last year's museum purchase, guys. Last year's museum purchase was by this artist, Todd Connor. It was The Incredible Ride of Katie Jennings. You might remember that piece from the live auction last year. This is our returning artist. This piece, and again, Tim talks about narratives, talks about the story. When you look at this canvas, it begs several questions. It's called She Stands Alone. This is clearly a Texas piece. To me, this looks like the hill country. You see shades of Salinas, right? You see I think probably the influence of Onderdonk, that cactus there in the foreground. So this is in a great tradition, but she's standing there with her gun. She's got her little child next to her. What is she defending the homestead from? Where's the man? Was he killed? Is he off fighting, hunting? Who knows? But it's just such a great narrative, and it's just one of those great Western pieces that just invites so many questions and speculation. It's a beautiful piece. Todd Connor, former Navy SEAL, by the way. That's range. That's pretty amazing. On this piece, we'll start off the bidding at $9,000. Thank you. Now $9,500. Here we go. At $9,000, now $9,500. At $9,500, where? At $9,500, $9,000, now $9,500. Here we go. $9,500 next. At $9,500, $9,000, now $9,500. At $9,500, do you have any bids out here? At $9,500, $9,000, $9,500. On the phone, we have a telephone bidder. Would you do 10? 10 in the room. Now 11. Back at 11,000, 10 now, 11,000 back on the phone, maybe at 11,000. At 10 now, you can all bid 11 back on the phone. Now 12,000 even. On the Todd Connor original at 12,000, up to you. At 12,000, 11 now, 12,000. Want to do 12? 12. Thank you, sir. Now 13. It's good to see you guys. At 13, 12 now, 13. 13, we have a new bidder in house. 13, now 14, Mr. K. At 14, all right, appreciate you. 13 now, 14. 13 now, 14. Anyone else at 14,000? 14, thank you for that bid. It was so subtle, I didn't even pick it up. Now 14, now 15. This gentleman's in lead. 14, now 15. You can get back in at 15. 15, you did. Now 16, yes. Now 17. 17,000, what do you want to do? At 17,000, 16 in the front row here. Now 17,000. 17,000. Beautiful Todd Connor. Again, everyone else in the courtyard and online and on the phone can bid at 17,000. You want to answer at 17? Up to you, 17,000. Just a beautiful piece. It just is. At 17,000, again, clearly the Texas Hill Country, they say yes. How about 18? 18,000. One more time. Yes. Now 19. Well, no hesitation there. What do you want to do? At 19,000, this gentleman's still in the lead. Now 19,000, back to you. They're having a little committee meeting. At 19,000. Yes. You want to do even 20? Yes. How about 21? I know. See, she's going, God dang. Who is that over there? At 21,000. 21. Yeah, well, listen, you guys stay separate. Security, 21,000. 21, now 22. Yes, now 23. At 23,000, 22 now 23. That's what it's going to take. At 23,000, 22 now 23. On, she stands alone. 23, yes. 24, yes. Now 25. I can read lips, by the way. At 25,000, started with an S. 25,000. Sure, now 26. All right, now 27. Who's going to take lot number 7 home at 27,000? At 27,000. Yes, 28. 27.5. Now 28. Like a real auction at 28,000. 27.5, now 28,000. Here we go. Gentleman's pouring you water, and I'm missing out on a $1,000 bid. 28,000. One more time. That might take it. 28,000. They're at 27.5, asking 28. They did a cut bid. 28, okay. Want to do 28.5? Okay. Now 29. All right. 29.5. Can we do 30? All right. You want to do 31? 32. Right? $32. Okay. 33. 32.5. Now 33. Son of a bitch. That's what she said. 33. $33. 34. 33.5. Now 34. Yes. 34.5. 35. 36. 37. Go Todd Connor. $37,000. Up to y'all. Okay. 38. 39. And yet we've come so far. Gentleman's in the lead at 38. I'll do the same thing for you I did for him. Would you do 38.5? Would that help? At 38.5. One more time. Yes. 39. Yes. 39.5. 39.5. Up to you. You already have it placed on your wall. You've already, you know where you're going to put it. 39.5. 40. We have a $40,000 bid, guys. How about 41? 41. 42. You say no. I think we found our finish. You're saying no. I'm going to take your word for it. You're in the lead at 41. You say no at 42. I've got to ask. Anyone else at 42? Okay. Fair and final. Sold. $41,000 over here. Wow. Wow. Thank you for your bids. You took the whole way. What was your bid paddle number? 346. 346, the winner. Awesome. That was fun. All right. Congratulations, Todd. Okay. Here's another returning artist to the Night of Artists. This is Brenda Murphy. Brenda Murphy, everybody. She has several pieces upstairs. This is lot number 8. It's called Caprock Sentinel. Now, if you looked at this piece like I did, you might have had the same impression. How the heck does someone do this with charcoal? It's incredible. It's almost photorealistic. I don't understand how this works. But it almost looks to me like one of those early photos that Ansel Adams might have done in the Yellowstone Valley, or Yosemite Valley, of the American bison, right? To me, that's what this looks like. So what Brenda was able to do in this piece is incredible. And it makes such an impact. This is a symbol of the American West. We know that. This is called Caprock Sentinel because I think it's to do with Caprock Canyon, which is here in the panhandle of Texas, right? Actually, I think it's in Briscoe County. Nice coincidence there, in Briscoe County, Texas. So again, this incredible charcoal. I don't know how Brenda does it, but it's an incredible piece. We'll start off, we have online bids at $4,000, now $4,250, now $4,500, okay, now $4,750. Where? Here we go, at $4,750 on lot number 8, everybody. You can all bid at $4,750, $4,500, now $4,750, at $4,750, at $4,750. Anyone else out here at $4,750? You want to bid at $4,750? An incredible piece, guys, from Brenda Murphy at $4,750. $4,500 now $4,750. Next bid, Mike, take it at $4,750. $4,500 now $4,750. At $4,750. Wow. At $4,750. Just raise your hand. You can get in at $4,750. $4,500 now $4,750. Anyone else at $4,750? Don't want to miss you at $4,750. Yes, online. Thank you. Now $5,000. At $5,000. Guys, you're missing a bet here. At $5,000. $4,750 now $5,000. At $5,000 I have. Now $5,500. At $5,000 now $5,500. $5,000 now $5,500. You guys are out. $5,500. Thank you, Justin. We're in the room. Thank you again. Wow. $5,500 in the room. Okay. How about $6,000? $5,500 now $6,000. The online bidder and the telephone bidders are out. At $6,000 next. At $6,000 here, lot number 8, guys, just an incredible impact, the photorealism of this piece. At $6,000, $5,500 now $6,000. Up to y'all. At $6,000, $5,500 now $6,000. $6,000, we're online. We're online. How about $6,500? At $6,000 now $6,500. At $6,500, you guys want to go one more time? Up to you on the Brenda Murphy. All right, appreciate your bid. Thank you. Anyone else at $6,500? $6,000 now $6,500, guys. Here we go. At $6,500, get my attention. I don't want to miss you. At $6,500. $6,000 now $6,500. On lot number 8, guys. I think it's better than that. $6,500. Anyone else? Once and twice. Gonna sell it at $6,500. Okay. Sold $6,000, and that went online. That went to one of our folks online. We got a bunch of folks online. Thank you, Brenda. Okay. Next, we have one of the most interesting pieces. This is Mark Kohler's Slipaway. You talk about the most incredibly bold compositional choice. We talk about the story behind the painting, the narrative. This one almost reads like a book. It's got an incredible saturation because it is oil on aluminum panel. That's a very unusual combination of mediums. Oil on aluminum panel, it really saturates the colors. And you see the horseman, the cowboy up on the top of the cliff with the horse. And then there's something hidden. Do you guys see it? Here in the bottom right, there's a mountain lion. Way down lower on the cliff, getting away. And again, this is a beautiful nocturne, that wonderful blue light of the evening. This is in so many ways one of the coolest pieces in the auction tonight. So Mark Kohler's Slipaway will start at $4,000. Thank you. Now $4,500, $4,750, $5,000. Would you do $5,500? Yes. Now $6,000. He's in the lead at $5,500. 6 over here. $6,500. 7. How cool is this piece? It's 7 new bidders. $7,500, y'all. You're both out. $7,500 back with her. 8. 8 with him. $8,500. $8,500 here. Thank you. I will give everyone a chance, I promise. Appreciate you getting my attention. How about 9 or 9,000 over here? At 9,000, she's in the lead. At 9,000, at 9,000, y'all. At 9,000. $8,500 now 9. All right. Now 9,500. At 9,500 back here. Now 10,000 even. Just go for it. At 10,000, 9,500 now 10,000. 10,000. We have a new bidder. We have a new bidder over here. 10,000. How about 11,000? 10 now 11. At 11,000, it's got to be worth that. This one is a stunner when you see it at 11,000. At 11,000, you guys know, you already saw it. At 11,000, 10 now, 11, she's back in the lead. Now 12. Would you like 12 over here? 11 now 12. Or 12 over here. Or 12 over here. At 12,000, we have lots of interest here. 12,000, thank you, Justin. We're back in the room here. We have a new bidder at 12,000. Why not? Now 13, would you do 13? She said yes. How about 14? Yeah, why not? 14 back here. Now 15. 14 now 15. At 15,000. Up to y'all. At 15, 14 now 15,000. You guys are all out. How about 15,000? How cool it would be to have this painting on your wall. At 15,000, 14 now 15, you're in the lead. 14 now 15. Anyone else at $15,000? At $15,000. On the Mark Kohler, lot number 9. At 15,000, that might take it, up to y'all. At 15,000 once. Oh, don't let this one go. This is one, just go for it. At 15,000 twice. Selling. You want to try it? I'm telling you. Yeah, how about 14.5? You want to do 14.5? The whole table is having a discussion. 14.5, why not? Do it. Yes! If I tried to pull, 15, yeah, that's an immediate response. So I'm not going to put up with that nonsense. If I tried that at my auction house, I would be shot. I'm at 15.5. But this is for the Briscoe. 15.5. At 15.5. One more time. Yeah, why not? 15.5. I have 15,000, you're at 15.5. Yes! 16. $16.5. $16.5. The entire table is goading her on. They'll all disappear when it comes time to pay. 16.5, we have a new bidder. We have a new bidder. We have a new bidder, we're not done yet. How about 17? 17 is bid. How about 18? 18 is bid. How about 19? 18.5. How about 19? Yes, I'll do 19.5 if that helps. Sure, now 20. 20 is bid. 20 is bid. How about 21? This is 21. Sorry. 21. Wow, that was. Yes. How about 22? 22. How about 23? We can do this thing again. 22.5. Absolutely all day long. Or was this no? This can mean 22.5. Oh, that's a no. Right? Okay. You're in the lead at 22. They said no. I'll take their word for it. At 22.5, you guys want to get back into 22.5? I'll tell you what, this is going to take all night. 22.5. Not really. 22.5, anyone else? At 22.5, they thought better of it. How about 23? Now 24. All right. Appreciate your bids. You made a good run at it. 24. At 23, it's such a cool piece. 23, now 24. At 24. From the time we first saw this, everyone in our staff has been talking about it. 23, now 24. Fair warning at 24,000. Are we done? All in, all done at 24,000. Sold. 23,000 over here. You got it. 348. 348. Congratulations. 348. Yes, yes. Thank you for your bids. That's a cool piece. Okay. Sorry? 348. 348 is the buyer. Okay. Okay. Moving on, this is another piece we had all kinds of interest in, guys. This is lot number 10, Chad Poppleton. This is someone who's on permanent display here at the Briscoe upstairs. This is called Foothill of the Wind Rivers, if you guys know Wyoming. This is the Wind Rivers Range, okay? Supposedly, it's the most remote mountain range in the lower 48, okay? So what you have here, what Chad has done, is two things. Chad did a wonderful landscape along with a wonderful wildlife scene. So you see the pronghorn antelope there in the scene. And he's a native, grew up on a ranch. You kind of see that. That's often the story, the backstory of so many of these artists. It's an incredible range to be able to work in a ranch and also paint that lifestyle. It's incredible. He's a member of the CAA, and it's just a beautiful piece. I don't know what else to say. Okay, so let's start the bidding here at You guys have what? 7,000. How about 7,500? Here we go. At 7,500, 7,000, 7,500 to go. At 7,500, at 7,500, 7,500 to have it on the phone. How about 8,000? At 75, now 8,000 in the room. Thank you, Mr. H. Now 8,500. 8,000, now 8,500. New bidder, Mr. K. Now 9. At 9,000. 8,500, now 9,000. What do you want to do? At 9,000, sure. I'm in the room. How about 9,500? 9,000, now 9,500. At 9,500, you guys are out at 9,500. 9,000 and 9,500. Go ahead at 9,500 if you like it. At 9,500. Anyone else at 9,500? At 9,500. Still better than that. 9,500, 9,000, 9,500. You can put your hands in here. 9,500 back on the phone. How about 10,000 even? 9,500 now 10,000. You say no, appreciate your bids. 9,500 there. How about 10,000? 9,500 now 10,000. I'll walk outside one time at 9,500 now 10,000. 10,000, sure. How about 10,005? Excuse me, guys. 10,000, that was quick. At 10,005, at 10,000, I need 10,005 now. 10,000 now 10,005. Are they sure? 10,005? 10,005, 10,000 now 10,005. Still better piece than that. My goodness, at 10,005. 10,000 now 10,005. Guys, take a look here at the Chad Poppleton at 10,005. I've got a new bidder over here. I got two hands in the air, but I'm going to take that bid over there. You're in the lead now. Now 11,000. Thank you for that bid. Now 11,000. Guys, wake up on this one. It's beautiful. At 10,000, 11,000. 10,005, now 11,000. At 11,000, anyone else at 11,000? Anyone else at 11,000 out here in the courtyard at 11,000? On the lot number 10, the Chad Poppleton, 11,000. Anyone else? Fair warning at 11,000. At 11,000, selling. Excuse me, guys. Sold over here, $10,500. She's happy. Congratulations, thank you. What's your bid paddle number tonight? 174. That 174. Thank you, sir. Okay. Moving on to another piece. This artist is here. This artist is here with us tonight. Lot number 11. The artist is Nancy Dunlop Caudry. Here it comes. And the piece is called Two-Spirit Camp Women Warriors. She uses a very unique process of dye on silk, and you see how it sort of emulsifies, and it just brings those incredibly vivid colors out. And what's so cool about this one is the Aurora Borealis that you see up there in the sky. So I'm thinking this is probably the Northern Rockies, but that dye just creates the perfect effect to show the Aurora Borealis. I mean, to me, it's just kind of perfect. This is an anchor piece. It's big. It'll make a big impact on any space you put it in. And she is, again, a returning artist to the Night of Artists here at the Briscoe for our 25th anniversary tonight. So, on to Nancy Dunlop Caudry. Let's start off at 8,500. Okay, now 9,000. 8,500 online. Now 9,000 to go. Here we go at 9,000. 8,500 now 9,000. At 9,000. At $9,000 here on lot number 11. Everyone can bid at $9,000. At $9,000. 8,500 and 9,000. At $9,000. What do you want to do at 9,000? Up to you. Do you want to bid at 9,000? 8,500 now 9,000. 9,000 is bid. Now 9,500. You guys are out. At 9,500. At 9,500. 9,000 now $9,500. Guys, think about this one. Lot number 11. Wow. At $9,500. 9,000 now 9,500. At 9,500, take a look at lot number 11, 9,500. By the way, I should have explained. Two-spirit, that refers to a woman warrior. So in a sense, inhabiting both of the spirits, both the masculine and the feminine. So that's what we're looking at, the two-spirit camp women warriors here, and that's kind of what that means. So I'm at 9,000. Now $9,500 next. Here we go at $9,500. 9,000 $9,500. You can all bid at $9,500. 9,000 $9,500. 9,000 $9,500. Up to y'all at $9,500. 9,000 $9,500. Anyone else at $9,500? At $9,500. Fair warning at $9,500. Okay. Are we done? Okay. I think we're going to pass this one. We're going to pass this one. Okay, thank you. That will be for sale upstairs, along with other pieces by Nancy. We're going to move to lot number 12. This is one of the pieces that was used in all the advertising for tonight's live auction. This is lot number 12 by Grant Redden. This is called Hair Trigger. I had a lot of folks telling me this is sort of in the tradition of Carl Rungus, right? And so again, the question is, what spooked the horse? What are we looking at here in this piece? It's a classic bucking bronc. Was there a rattlesnake? Did something the cowboy did? What I love about this is that he absolutely nailed the posture of this horseback, this rider. So this is someone that clearly knows what they're doing when this bronc does this, and they're sort of reacting to it in a way that shows that they've probably broken horses before. This is a real rider, right, Tim? All right. So I have a quote here, guys, from Grant. His quote, and I love this quote, guys, listen up. Each horse has its own personality, which should come out in the painting. I think that's really cool. That sounds to me like Cormac McCarthy, right? So that's a great quote. I think this is a great piece by Grant Redden. We'll start at 12,000. How about 12? Now 13. At 12,000, now 13,000 here on lot number 12. 12,000, now 13. At 12,000, now 13,000 next. At 12,000, now 13 here in the Grant Redden, everybody. 13 in the room. Thank you, Mr. H. Now 14. At 13, now 14,000. This is just a beautiful piece, guys. 13, now 14. Grant himself was a rancher. I think this may be set in Wyoming. Not sure. 13, now 14. I've got 13 in the room asking 14,000 next, everybody. Here we go at 14,000. 13, now 14. Appreciate your attention. 13, now 14. At 13, now 14,000. You guys out here in the courtyard, you want to bid? At 13, now 14. Give Dalton something to do. At 13, now 14,000. At 14,000, guys. See what we're selling. 13, now 14,000. With 13.5, help anyone. At 13.5. 13,000, now 13.5,000. At 13, now 13,500. At 13, now 13.5. At 13.5, and a Grant Redden. Had a lot of folks looking at this prior to the auction. At 13.5, give my attention, please, and bid if you want to. At 13.5. At 13,000, now 13.5. Wow, I am surprised. At 13.5, everybody see what we're doing here, guys? At 13.5. At 13.5, I'm in the room. Thank you for that. Now 14. At 13.5, now 14. 14 back with y'all. Thank you. Now 14.5. It's definitely better than that. At 14.5. At 14.5. It's just a classic American Bronc. At 14.5. 14, now 14.5. At 14.5. Anyone else at 14.5? You want to do 14.5 one more time? At 14.5? Up to y'all. At 14.5? Anyone outside? 14.5. Okay. How about 15? Where was my bidder? 15. Thank you very much. Now 16. That was no hesitation. At 16. 15.5. Now 16. You say no? At 15.5. Now 16. All right. At 16,000. Anyone online or anyone else says 16,000 here on the Grant Redden at 16,000 once, 16,000 twice. Are you sure? It's 16,000. It's a great piece. At 16,000. Sold. 15.5. All right. You win. You win. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys and all your support for so long. The Hedler family. What was your number tonight? Do y'all have a bid card number? I know we know who you are. Thank you. 393. 393. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Okay, this is a special moment, guys. Lot number 13. The artist Andrew Rhoda. This, everybody, hear me? This is Andrew Rhoda's first national show. The Night of Artists. Congratulations, Andrew. This is such an interesting piece. I thought about this piece probably more than any other piece when I was studying for this, and it's called Say When. Say When. There's so much behind that title, and you see the posture. And so this gentleman, and you wonder, like, what's the narrative again? What's the story behind it? Obviously, it's a confrontational pose. It's a confrontational title. You have the gauntlet gloves. You have the Henry 1860. That's a Navy 1851 Colt in his holster. You have the bandolier, the chaps, and the sort of almost letterbox framing and composition of this. Again, it makes me think of like a Sergio Leone film, right? Or like a John Ford old Western. Just that really dramatic, cinematic composition. And your sort of imagination fills in the rest all around it. So it's just a beautiful painting, one of several that Andrew has here, again, at the Briscoe Night of Artists and all weekend upstairs. So again, this is Say When from Andrew Rhoda. We'll start at, you want to do 7,000? How about 7,500? At 7,000, now 7,500. Here we go. 7,500, 7,000, 7,500. I'm in the room now. 80,000, at 8,000 next. 7,500, now 8,000. Yes. Now 8,500. At 8,000, 8,500. You're out, sir. At 8,500, 8,000, now 8,500. How cool is this painting? At 8,500, 8,500 back in the room now. 9,000. 9,000 new bidder. Now 9,500. At 9,500 to go. 9,000, now 9,500. You're out, sir. At 9,500, up to you. At 9,500. Yes. Now 10,000 one time. Yes. Now 11,000. At 10,000, now 11,000 to go. We're still on the floor. At 11,000, 10 now. 11 is bid now. 12. 11 now. 12,000 on the Andrew Rhoda. 12,000. Say When at 12,000 new bidder over here. Thank you so much. Now 13. At 12, now 13. Now you're both out at 13. And he's back in the room. Now 14 or 14 over here. 13 now 14. We're over here in the corner. Now 15. 14 now 15. 14 now 15,000 to go. 14 now 15,000. 15. We got a new bidder here in the front. We've got 4 bidders. Now 16 at 16,000. At 15 now 16. They're back. How about 17? 17 in the front row. How about 18? Yes, 19 at 19,000. How cool is this piece? At 19,000, 19 in the room. Now 20,000 even at 20,000. Again, love that Henry repeater, that 1860 at 20,000. At 20, yes. Now 21 or 21. I've got 20 over here, 21. You say, all right, 21, 20 now, 21. Now you can bid at 21. They were just right ahead of you, 21. 21, here on the phone. Okay, now we're on the phone. How about 22? At 22 in the room. I'm on the floor. Now 23. At 23,000, 22 now 23, back on the phone. How about 24? Back to y'all, 24,000 even. 23.5, we'll do it. How about 24? Now I need 24. 23.5, now 24. 24 is bid. Would you do 25? Or 24.5? 25, sure. Now 26. 25, now 26. Again, you guys out in the courtyard can bid. 26 on the phone. Now 27. At 27,000. 26 now 27,000. This one's a winner, guys, at 27,000. 26 now 27,000. Anyone else at 27,000? Would 26.5 help? 26.5. I have it in the room. Now I need 27. At 27 even. 26.5 now 27 back on the phone. I'll stick with that increment. All right, 27.5. 27 on the phone. Now 27.5. Up to y'all. 27.5. 27 now 27.5. Anyone else at 27.5? And Andrew Rhoda's incredible Say When. Love that title. At 27.5. At 27.5. Fair warning at 27.5. Are we done? Selling. Sold. $27,000 on the phone. That was a phone bidder. Congratulations, Andrew. Congratulations, Andrew. That's cool. That's what the Night of Artists is about. Introducing new, incredible talent to the world. Okay, here's another artist, a returning artist, someone who's here with us, Randy Van Beek. This is exactly the subject matter that he's known for. This is called Kiowa Hunters Camp at Palo Duro Canyon. Here's a cool piece because you have the wonderful Native American subject matter, and of course that's Palo Duro Canyon, which is kind of the Grand Canyon of Texas, right? It's up there near Amarillo, and you have the Prairie Dog Town fork of the Red River coming down there through, and you see the hunters up there at the camp on the mesa looking down on the buffalo there down by the water. So you know what's going to happen next. Incredible color in this piece, and just a neat piece in general. The Kiowas, of course, came down from the plains. They sort of partnered with the Comanches and were very prominent here in the mid-19th century. So this is a mid-19th century scene that we're looking at from Randy Van Beek. Beautiful piece, set here in Texas. 4,000, 4,250, 4,500, now 4,750, now 5,000. Okay, how about 5,000 at 5 in the room? Thank you, sir. Hey, good to see you. Now 5,500, 5,000, now 5,500. Everybody bid at 5,500 only. Here we go, guys, at 5,500. See what we're selling, 5,500 online. Sorry, now 6 in the room. 6,500 against you, Michelle. At 6,500, 6,000, now 6,500. At 6,500, next. At 6,500, oh, I hear you, I don't want to miss you. At 6,500, 6,000 in the room. Now 6,500 next. Boy, it's a beautiful piece. At 6,500, the colors. At 6,500, 6,500 got a new bidder. Thank you, sir. How about 7? 7 here. 7.5. 8. No, he says, all right, 7.5 in the front. Appreciate you. Now you're in the lead. Now 8, anyone else? 7.5 now, 8,000. 8,000. It's a great price. It's got to be a great price. At $8,000, this beautiful original, 8,000 we have. Over here, new bidder. Thank you, Justin. Now 8,500 to this gentleman, 8,500, sorry. Now 9,000. 9 back to you. All right. 9,500. Now 10,000 and 11 and 12 and 13. You want to do 12.5? 12.5 is bid. Can you do 13? Yes. 13 and a half. I'll play. Now 14. 14 and a half and 15 and a half. 16 and a half, 17 and a half, 18 and a half, 19 and a half. We're at 19,000. How about 19.5? Anyone else said 19.5 for Randy Van Beek? All right, that's fun. At 19.5, 19 now, 19.5. You want to make him pay 20? 19.5 now, 20. Yes. Well, that worked great. Thanks. 2,500. All right, thank you very much for your bids all night. You're in the lead at 20,000 on the Randy Van Beek, lot number 14. How about 21? Anyone else at 21,000 even? At 21,000. 20,000 now, 21,000. Fair warning. At 21,000. Are we done? At 21,000. Don't want to miss you. Sold over here. $20,000. Yes. You've been bidding all night. Appreciate it. Your number is 337. Thank you. 337. Appreciate you. Congratulations, Randy. All right. Lot number 15. Okay, this is an absolute incredible piece, guys. This is one of our favorite hometown heroes. This is Gladys Roldan de Moros, and she has done an incredible piece here called Guardians of Tradition. She has built an incredible legacy already right here in San Antonio, former resident of Monterrey, Mexico, now in San Antonio. And this is a very, very tender piece. I remember after seeing it in print and then seeing it in person, it just absolutely captivates you. So there's been a charreria, which is an exhibition of equestrian skills. This is the escaramuza, which is when they have the beautiful dresses and they do the demonstration of the equestrian skills, and you see the mother with the daughter. And she's, tired, of course, after the competition, and they're coming there in a plaza, possibly in Mexico, I don't know, but it's just a beautiful piece. Gladys has won the Remington Painting Award at the Prix de West. That's very prestigious. She has a huge piece in the new headquarters of Jefferson Bank here on Broadway in San Antonio. If you guys have been to the new Jefferson Bank headquarters, a huge, super impressive canvas. So, widely, yes? Oh, this is San Jose Mission. Thank you, Rob. This is San Jose Mission. I appreciate that. That really helps. So, this is a San Antonio scene, and it's just perfect. Beautiful piece here from Gladys Roldan de Moros, and we'll start off at 14,000. How about 15,000 where? Here we go. 14,000 now, 15,000. Lot number 15. 14 now, 15,000. This one you will treasure for the rest of your life. 15 we have. Thank you, Mr. K. Now 16. At 15 now, 16 at 16,000. 15 now, 16. Thank you. Now 17. 16 now, 17. I see you. 17, 16 now, 17. You want to do 17, Mr. K? At 17, 16. I appreciate your bid. 16 now, 17. 16 now, 17,000. Anyone else is 17,000. 16 now, 17,000. At 17,000. 16 now, 17. 17. We have a new bidder over here. Thank you. Now 18. At 17 now, 18,000 even. 17 now, 18,000. 18,000. We're out here. Thank you, Ashley. And now 19. At 19,000, 18 now 19. At 19, back in the room. Back in the room. Now 20,000. At 20,000. Oh my goodness, we have a bidder in the courtyard. Thanks, guys. Now 20,000 outside. The beautiful, beautiful evening here in San Antonio, Texas. At 20,000, now 21,000. At 21,000, we're back in the room. Now 22,000. At 22,000, 21 out 22. 22, yeah, get a photo of them bidding. You can put your bid card up. I'll take your bid, but I will say it's for the photo. 22, now 23. At 23, back in the room. Now 24. At 24,000, this is a San Antonio scene. 24, thanks guys. Now 25. At 25,000, heck yeah. Now 25, back in the room. Now 26. I'm getting my steps in. At 26,000. 26, yes. Now 27. At 27, yes. Now 28. At 28,000. Oh, I love that family. Now 29. At 29,000, they answer. Now 30,000 even. That might take it home, guys. 30,000. Yeah, borrow some money from the lady to your right. At 30,000, okay, you want to do 29.5. 29.5. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's see how that works. Now 30. 30, we have a new bidder. 30, well, that didn't work real well. How about 31,000? We're in the room. 31,000 over here. How about 32? We're not done yet. 32 in the room. Now 33. 34. At 34,000, right back at you. They didn't even hesitate. 34. 34. Now 35. 35 is bid. Now 36. At 36,000, 36 is bid. Now 37. At 37. 38. At 38,000. Back to you. 38,000. He says yes. How about 39? He says yes. How about 40? Sure. Can we do 41? Can we do 42? And 43. Yeah, we can even angle it and show them. At 43. There we go. 43,000. Yes. Now 44. 45 is bid. I like his style. Can we do 47 and a half? See, I said that right before he put his paddle up. How about 50? Yes! Yes! Up to you. You want to do 55? $55 is bid. 60. He said let him have it. 55, now 60. Or you can tell me a bid you would like to advance. He said 55,001. How about 57.5? Yeah, he's calling his wife. 57.5 is bid. How about 60? Oh, he put his bid pedal down. Uh-oh, 60,000. All right. Anyone else? You guys want 60? $60? Okay, had to ask. Thanks for your bids. Anyone else is 60,000? Fair warning, is 60,000 sold. 57,500 over here. 57.5. 57.5 is bid. Congratulations, buyer 384. You win 384. Absolutely an outstanding. Gladys is right over here, guys. Congratulations, Gladys. San Antonio artist. Incredible result. Congratulations. Boy, is that fun. That's what this night is about, guys. Okay, we've got 10 more pieces. That's it. Lot number 16. Jim Vogel. Perhaps of any artist tonight, the most clearly and distinctive artist where you immediately know who you're looking at. A New Mexican artist, very much in the tradition of Thomas Hart Benton, with those exaggerated features. What's so fun is that his wife, Kristen, actually finds these sort of found art frames. And I think, we saw a lot of antiques. I think this is actually probably, you know, the frame of a mirror from like a 19th century Victorian dresser or something like that, maybe an American oak dresser. So his wife finds these wonderful frames, and then he puts this incredible art in the middle of it. This is called Sunday Afternoon, and it depicts a family out in New Mexico having a nice Sunday afternoon. So you see the man with the guitar, the woman with the sunflowers, and then back in the background you see a child who is flying a kite. Again, investment grade art. This gentleman has built an incredible legacy. There's several pieces upstairs that are all great in their own very individual way. This is the one we're selling at auction tonight. We have 9,000. 9,500. How about 10,000 even? At 10,000, we're going to go 10,000. 9,500 now 10,000. Everyone can bid at 10,000 here in the beautiful Jim Vogel at $10,000. 9,500 now 10,000. At 10,000 where? 9,500 now 10,000. Do you want to bid at 10,000? 9,500 now 10,000. At 10,000 next. 9,500 now 10,000. At 10,000. Up to y'all. 9,500 now 10,000. 10 I'm in the room. Thank you for that bid. Now 11,000 over here in the room at 11,000. Now 12,000. At 12, yeah, get my attention. At 12,000, 11 now, 12. You should. At 12,000, 12. I have a new bidder over here. How about 13? At 13, where am I at, Justin? At 13, 12 now, 13. Would you guys like to bid again at 13? At 13 over here. At 12 now, 13. You're in the lead. 12 now, 13. 12, 13 is bid. Thank you. Now you're back in lead. Would you like 14? Ball's in your court now. 14. 13 now, 14. At 14,000, you want to do it? 13, all right, appreciate your bids. You're in the lead, guys, at 13,000. 14, we have a new bidder at 14,000. Yes, ma'am, you're in the lead. Now 15 on the beautiful Jim Vogel Sunday afternoon. I just think it's great work. At 15, you see it from across the room, you know the artist. At 15, 14 now 15. At 15,000, 14 now 15, that beautiful frame. At 15,000, 14 now 15. Another artist that returns to us 2 years in a row at the Briscoe Night of Artists. At 15,000, they're talking about it. Anyone else at 15,000? Fair warning, at 15,000, I don't want to miss you. 15,000, you want to do it one more time? Would 14.5 help? I'll do that one time. 14.5. No? At 14.5? 14.5. He's back. He's back. Well, that worked. Would you like 15? 15 even on the Jim Vogel? I gotta watch out for these sparkler machines, man. At 15,000. Yes, now 16,000. At 16,000. Up to y'all. At 16,000, anyone else in the beautiful Jim Vogt, 16,000. Fair warning, here in-house, online, on the phone at 16,000. Are we done selling? Want to do 15.5? Want to do 15.5? Yes, I appreciate you. Now 16. Thank you for your patience. We want to do 16? They'll probably take it. Okay, thank you for your bids. At 15.5, this gentleman. Anyone else at 16? Okay, really now, we're selling it at 16,000. Selling. Sold 15.5. Yes, sir, 15.5. You got it, 15.5 here in the room. Thank you. Congratulations, 241. Appreciate the assist. 241 on the bid paddle. Okay, moving on to an incredible piece again. You know, it's just strength after strength. This is Amory Bowling. She's here. Talked to Amory earlier. This is exactly what she's known for, the Grand Canyon. And this is an incredibly detailed, amazingly, I mean, she has such a keen eye for detail. It's called A Respite Along the Great Unknown. So you see, of course, the Grand Canyon, you've got the Colorado River coming through, but what's so amazing is that even in the midday sun with those tall canyon walls, you've got that shady spot, which is where the viewer is standing. And there's actually caves. She talked about Jim Carson Powell, the early explorer of the Grand Canyon. And that's kind of the implication there of the title, The Great Unknown, because this is sort of a historical piece talking about how this area of the American West wasn't fully explored yet. This is one of three or four, I think, bowlings that we have in the weekend, and they're all incredible. I can't believe how photorealistic and detailed this is, and it's just as good in person as it is on print. So, a lot of interest here, not surprised. 7,000, 7,500, 8,000. Here we go at $8,000 in the Amory Bowling. You can all bid if you like right now at $8,000. 7,500, 8,000 in the room now, 8,500. I cannot believe the skill it takes to paint like this. At $8,500, 8,500 online. Thank you. Now 9,000. I'm online. Would you like 9,000, ma'am? Up to you. At 9,000 on the Amory Bowling. At 9,000, 8,500 at 9,000. You can all bid. $9,000, 8,500 at 9,000. 8,500 at 9,000. It's just a beautiful piece. 9,000. We have a new bidder over here. Thank you for all your bids tonight. What a supporter. How about 9,500? 9,500 back online. Would you like 10,000 even back with her? Now 11. 11 with him. Now 12. At 12,000. 11 now 12. 12 on the line. Online. Excuse me. Now 13 or 13. At 13,000. You're both out. 13 with the gentleman. Would you like 14? At 13 now 14. I'm in the room. Now 15. At 15 back of the gentleman in the room. Maybe. At 15. 14 now 15. At 15. Back in the room. Yes. Now 16. Yes, 17. At 17,000, 16 now 17,000. At 17,000, where? 16 now 17,000. One more time, might take it. At 17,000, 16 now 17,000. Anyone else over here? At 17,000. At 17,000. You guys online are out. 16 is bid on the floor with her. Now 17, one more time. At 17,000. 17,000. Fair warning at 17,000. You want to try one more time? At 17,000 once, 17,000 twice. Are we done? You want to do 17? Fair warning. Okay, I know you're saying stay sold, my God. Sold, 16,000, you got it, congratulations. That's a great painting. Your bid number 55, bid paddle number 55, thank you so much. Okay. Perhaps the artist in tonight's auction that maybe needs the least introduction, Kim Wiggins. This is the only Kim Wiggins we have in the weekend, but here it is, and it's worth it, man. This thing jumps off the wall. It's called Arizona Dusk. Another artist. You know exactly who you're looking at when you see a Kim Wiggins. I believe there's 3 amazing Kim Wiggins in the Briscoe's permanent collection. At least 2 are on display right now upstairs. Gorgeous. He uniquely captures that purple sort of quality to the sky in the desert at night, right? When the sun's coming down the desert, for some reason it gets real purple. And that's captured in this, but it's just a absolutely contemporary take on this traditional subject matter. Always sells out. The voice of the New West is what Ken Wiggins calls himself. The voice of the New West. This piece, all kinds of interest, $7,000, $7,500, how about $8,000 now? At $8,000, here we go, at $8,000, everybody at $8,000. And then Kim Wiggins, again, investment grade. I'm $8,000 here, $8,500, now $9,000. What you do, now $9,500, now $10,000. At $10,000, now $11,000. $11,000 over here, now $12,000. At $12,000 here, now $13,000. At $13,000, back to y'all at $13,000, or anyone else at $13,000, it'll go at $13,000. Yes, now $14,000. At $13,000, now $14,000 to go to $14,000. $13,000, now $14,000. You guys outside can bid if you like at $14,000. $13,000, now $14,000. What do you want to do? At $13,000, now $14,000. At $13,000, now $14,000. This is investment grade art. There's no question about it. 14 always sells out. We were able to get one Kim Wiggins at $14,000. 13 now 14,000. As thinking about it, you're in the lead at 13 and now 14. 13 now 14. Want to try it one more time at 14? 13 now 14. Up to y'all at 13 now 14. Or anyone else outside at $14,000. Everyone will know exactly what you have in your wallet. 14,000. 13 now 14. At 14,000. 14. We have a new bid. No. They're in the lead. They're in the lead at 13. Unless someone else at the table is bidding against them. Yeah? Are we sure? Did they come together? Did you want 14? 14 with the gentleman in the jacket. Now 15. Fair enough. Just want to be real clear. Now 15, ma'am, you're out. At 15,000, you guys are out. At 15,000, 14 now 15. 14 now 15. All right, appreciate you. 14 now 15. Anyone else that fit? Gentleman is in the lead. 14 now 15 on the Kim Wiggins. Absolutely gorgeous Kim Wiggins at 15,000. This is the only one we have, guys, at 15,000. Once, 15,000 twice. Are we done? Are you sure? You don't want this Kim Wiggins at 15? You want to do 14.5? We can do that cut bid if you want. You say no? All right. Appreciate your participation. Fair warning then at 15,000. Sold. 14,000 over here. You win. You got it. Heck yeah. Woo. Yeah, he took his hat off. Margaritas to table 6, please. What was y'all's bid paddle? Yeah. They're having so much fun over there. Neither number. $361, got it. Okay, very good. Moving on, guys, here we go. Just have a few more left. Lot number 19. This is another returning artist of the Night of Artists here at the Briscoe. This is C. Michael Dudash. And the piece is called An Uncertain Future. There it is. All right. This is at once intimate and expansive, I think. Again, the subject matter, the gentleman on horseback, but in front of course, the Grand Canyon. So you have this really intimate moment of the Native American on horseback with the incredible ruby or sort of like red bands of the Grand Canyon reaching out, again, sort of a cinematic effect to me. This is an illustrator, great colorist, just a reflection on a changing world, a very interesting piece by C. Michael Dudash, again, one of our artists here at the Briscoe Night of Artists that we love to have every year. So we'll start off on this one at just 7,000. Thanks, ladies. Now 7,500 here on lot number 19. At 7,000 now 7,500. Now you can all bid at 7,500. Here we go. At 7,500, 7,000 now 7,500. Guys, think about it. At 7,000 now 7,500. Everybody, 7,500. Oh, here's Kim Wiggins right here. At 7,000 now 7,500. At 7,500 out here in the courtyard. Thank you, Dalton. Now 8,000. 7,500 now 8,000. 7,500 8,000. 8,000. Yes. How about 8,500? Back against you guys at 85. It's a beautiful piece at 8,500. 8,500. Thank you very much. Now 9,000. 8,500 to 9,000. 8,500 to 9,000. Yeah, let's take it outside a little bit. At 9,000. 8,500. 9,000. Now about 9,500. 9,500 here. Now 10,000. 9,500 now 10,000. Everyone can bid at 10,000. 10,000. I can barely see them. How about I'll do 10,500. Would that help? 10,500. Thank you. You're in the lead. Now 11. At 10,500. Now 11,000. At 11,000. They say no. Anyone else at 11,000? 10,500 now 11,000. Everybody at 10,500 now 11,000. A really nice C. Michael Dudash at 11,000 only. Think about it, guys. You should all be jumping in at this level at 10,000. 10,005 outside in the courtyard. Now 11,000. You guys online are out at 11,000. At 11,000. Fair warning at 11,000. I think you're sleeping on this one at 11,000 once, 11,000 twice. Selling. Sold. 10,500 over here. 322, you win. 322. Yeah, you're the winner. Thank you. You get it. Excuse me. All right. Okay, coming back out. Okay, this is lot number 20 by Kelly Singleton, another artist coming back to the Night of Artists. This is kind of a, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Look at this bighorn sheep. Here it is. So what are we looking at in this? What we're looking at is the moment before one of the most violent moments in all of nature. This is a ram about to challenge a rival in the rut, right? So you see the eyes, you see the stance, you see the teeth. I love the detail of the teeth that are bared, just a little bit. But you see that it's about to happen where they might just explode, and that's why it's called TNT, I'm Dynamite. That's exactly what this is called. Again, that incredible violent moment of nature from a bighorn sheep. This is exactly the subject matter that Kelly Singleton is known for. Let's start the bidding at just $4,000. $4,000, thank you. Now $4,500. Would you do $4,500? They were right ahead of you at $4,500. Thank you, ma'am. Now $5,000. $4,500 now $5,000 next at $5,000. $4,500 now $5,000. She's in the lead. Now $5,000 even. $4,500 now $5,000. You guys online can bid if you like it. $5,000. We have $5,500 online. Not sure how that happened. How about $6,000? $6,000 in the room. Thank you, ma'am. Now $6,500. At $6,500, $6,000 in the room on the floor. Now $6,500 next. Guys, this beautiful Kelly Singleton bighorn sheep, again, it's called TNT, I'm Dynamite. And again, that's what this guy is about to do. At $6,500, $6,000 on the floor, now $6,500. Everybody at $6,500, $6,000 now $6,500. Remember, tomorrow is the grand exhibition, so come back tomorrow for sure. Tonight, I have it out here, $6,500. Thank you. How about $7,000? I've got $6,500 in the courtyard. Now $7,000. Would you like to get back in at $7,000? Or $7,000 over there? I know I had a couple. $7,000. She's in the lead. Would you do $8,000? Or $7,500? Sorry, $7,500. Now $8,000. $8,000. Now $8,500. On the Singleton at $8,500. Sure, $8,500. Now $9,000. Just a great scene from the American West. At $9,000, yes. Now $9,500. All right, appreciate your bids, but think about it. $9,500. Oh, I'm sorry. That's $9,500 next, or $9,500 to my bidder out here in the courtyard at $9,500. $9,000 in the room. How about $9,500, y'all? You can bid right now one more time if you like at $9,500. Up to you at $9,500. Anyone else at $9,500 here in the Kelly Singleton. It's a beautiful piece of the bighorn sheep at $9,500. Or I am selling $9,500. We have online. We have an online bidder. How about $10,000 even? That probably take it. Yes, she said yes here in the room. How about $11,000? At $10,000 now $11,000. At $10,000 now $11,000. Everyone can bid. $10,000 now $11,000. $10,000 now $11,000. I'll give the online bidder one more chance at $11,000. We're on multiple bidding platforms online, guys. $11,000 once, $11,000 twice. Fair warning then. I'm going to say sold. Sold. Over here, $10,000. You got it. Congratulations. Thank you. And what was your bid, Paddle? 174 again. Thanks for the assist. 174. Okay. Lot number 21. This is another returning artist, the Night of Artists, Bruce Cheever. And this is called Crimson Cascade, and you'll see why here in a second. Here it comes out. This is the spectacular Utah Canyonlands, and he's absolutely nailed it in this. Interesting thing about Bruce's technique, he uses the golden ratio. He uses math to inform his forms, and so that's sort of what nature does too. And what's so cool about this piece is you see these sort of intersecting angles of the different levels of the water. You see the trees in the background, of course, the incredible lighting on the cliffs. This is, again, the Utah Canyonlands. I love the detail in the trees, and you see the two Native Americans on the horseback, and then you might not see it, but there's another one here sort of in the woods, so maybe they're going to meet up. I'm not sure, but it's a beautiful piece, and again, this is exactly what Bruce Cheever is known for. We'll start off here at just $7,000. Okay, same starting bid. How about $7,500 here on lot number 21? Here we go on the Bruce Cheever, guys. Again, someone who has several pieces in this weekend's exhibition. How about $7,500 next? $7,000 now, $7,500. Everybody can bid it. $7,500 in the room now. $8,000. Here we go at $8,000. $7,500 now, $8,000. $7,500 now, $8,000. Everyone else at $8,000. $7,500 now, $8,000. At $7,500 now, $8,000. $8,000 out there. Thank you, Dalton, for getting my attention. Would you do $8,500? $8,500. It's a great price. At $8,500, $8,000 now, $8,500. Everybody can bid at $8,500. You guys all take a look, please. Again, at $8,500 here at lot number 21, the Bruce Cheever at just $8,500. Again, the Utah Canyonlands scene at $8,500. Thank you. Now $9,000. At $9,000, they're out. $9,000, yes. Thank you, Dalton Sanders. Now $9,500. Now $10,000. At $10,000, $9,500, now $10,000. Why not? At $10,000, $9,500, now $10,000. You guys want it out there at $10,000, $9,500, now $10,000? Yeah, take it out. Show them. At $10,000, $9,500, now $10,000. $9,500, now $10,000. Up to you guys at $10,000. $9,500, now $10,000. One more bid, probably take it. At $10,000, $9,500, now $10,000. Here we go, $10,000. One more time. At $10,000, $9,500, now $10,000. Sorry about the sound. At $10,000. You guys want to bid one more time at 10,000? 10,000 is bid. Thank you. Long distance, way out there in the courtyard. Now 11. At 10,000 out in the courtyard, now 11,000. 10 now, 11,000 to buy. At 10 now, 11,000. At 10 now, 11,000. Anyone said $11,000? 10 now, 11. 10 now, 11. Anyone else? I don't want to miss you. $11,000. 10.5 is bid. Thank you for that bid. How about 11,000? He bid a cut bid. Need 11,000 next. Guys out here in the courtyard to advance. At 11,000 on the Bruce Cheever. Again, the Utah Canyonlands scene at 11,000. 10.5 is bid in the room. Now 11,000 that is bid out here in the courtyard. I can do 11.5. You want to do 11.5? All right, 11.5 is bid. Okay, now 12,000. Back out here. Man, the weather is so nice. You want to do 12? 11.5 now. 12 is bid. 12.5. It's right in the middle of the estimate. Yes, now 13. I'm back in the room at 12.5. Now 13. Back to y'all out here at 13. Gorgeous courtyard at 13,000. $13.5. In the room, 14. Right back at you. At 14. I think that table went to Paris Hatters. 14. Now 14.5 in the room. Now 15. That might do it. Up to you. At 15,000. One more time. At 15,000. Once. 15,000 is bid. Can you do 16? Can we do 16? 16 in the room. Now 17. $17 one more time. Yes, 18. 17.5 in the room, now 18. I have nowhere to go, guys, so I'm just going to hang out. 18. 17.5 now, 18. Yes. 18.5 in the room, 19. Dalton, what do you say? They say no? Okay. I've got 18.5 in the room, 19 next. Anyone else at 19,000 on the Bruce Cheever at 19,000 once, 19,000 twice, selling. Sold, 18.5 here in the front, 75. 75 is the buyer. Thank you very much, sir, guys. Appreciate all your bidding tonight. In the room is the winner. Okay, moving on. Here's the other artist, probably doesn't need a whole heck of a lot of introduction. This is Martin Greeley. Guys, Martin Greeley. Important name, obviously. Prestige artist. Add a Greeley to your collection tonight. Sells out everywhere. Sold at all the major auctions. Scottsdale, again, Coeur d'Alene, Jackson Hole, Briscoe. He is always showing Native Americans, in particular, Crow, Blackfeet, Cheyenne. And this is a piece called Party Leader, presumably War Party Leader. But this is exactly what this famous artist is known for. One of the most bankable and investable artists working in the Western genre today. There's no question about it. So we start off at 14. All right, 14 is online. Now 15 in the room. 16. At 16 next. 15 now 16. Go ahead at 16 here. 17. Put a Greeley on your wall. 17. 17, new bidder. I've got it in the room. Right ahead of you. 18, you're both out. 18 online. 19. Now you're all three out. 19. 19 back in the room. 20. It's money in the bank, guys. 20. 20 online. 21 in the room. 22. 23. 24. You guys can all bid. I'm 24 with the gentleman in the room. 24 next. 24,000 for a Martin Greeley. It's called Party Leader at 24,000 where? At 24,000, y'all bid him at 24,000. Anyone else outlined? At 24 in line. Now 25. In the room, 26. Bid up, please, quickly at 26. You guys online, yes or no at 26,000? They say yes. Now 27. He's thinking about it. 27. 27. All right. How about 28? 28,000. 27 to 28,000, everybody. You guys online, you want to respond at 28,000. A Martin Greeley original at 28,000 where? Fair warning then at 28,000. Gentleman in the room is still in the lead. Need 28,000 to advance. Fair warning again at 28,000. Are we done? Fair and final, selling. Sold, 27,000. The gentleman in the room, 43 paddle number, and you've added a Martin Greeley to your collection. Thank you very much. And thank you to the online bidders. Okay, here's another familiar name. In fact, she's doing an artist workshop soon here at the Briscoe. This is Mary Ross Buchholz. This is called Satisfied. It's one of the most tender pieces in the entire auction. This is a cat, and what's so interesting, and we didn't notice this at first, but there's a little detail in this piece. It's this little feather here. So what's going on? There's a little feather falling down from this very satisfied cat's perch, maybe after a meal. The Buchholzes are West Texas ranchers. It's just a beautifully serene piece. She is widely exhibited. And again, Mary Ross Buchholz, another returning artist to the Night of Artists here in San Antonio. So here I have 4,000 even, now 4,250. Now 4,500. Okay, now 4,750. Now 5,000. Now 5,500. Sorry, 5,500 over here, new bidder, now 6,000. At 6,000 you, 5,500 now 6,000. Or 6,000 you, now 6,500. I have it here first. Would you do 6,500 here? Thank you. Now you're in the lead, now 7. Now I'll take a bid over here at 7. They were right ahead of you at 7,000. Trying to be just as fair as I can be. At 7,000, 6,500 at 7,000. Where was my bidder? At 7,000. Anyone else? At 7,000 here. At 6,500 now 7,000. At 7,000, it's better than that. 7,000, 6,500 now 7,000. At 7,000, you're still in the lead. 7,000, we have a new bidder. New bidder here in the black hat. Would you do 7,500? Yes. Now 8,000, back to you. At 8,000, Mr. G. At 8,000, 7,500, 8,000. 8,000, thank you, sir. 8,500, thank you, sir. Now 9. At 9. 9. Now 9,500. Whoop, now 10. Yes. Now 11. Yes. Now 12. I need 12. 12 is bid. Thank you, Mr. G. Now 13. He's laughing. At 13. Well, heck. At 13. All right. You're in the lead. Gentleman's in the lead. Now 13,000. Anyone else at 13,000? You guys want to try one more time? 13? All right. Now 14. Where'd she go? She called from upstairs. She said, go ahead. 14. All right, appreciate y'all. Thank you for your bids. Still in the lead over here at 13. Anyone else at 14,000 on the Mary Ross Buchholz? At 14,000 once, 14,000 twice. Selling. Sold. 13,000 over here. You win. 20, 20, 20, 20. And thanks for your bids. All right. Okay, guys. Lot number 24, I think, had the most views of anything in this auction on our website. So here it comes, the G. Russell Case Big Skies. This is a winner. I'm telling you, this is the Red Rocks of Utah, very much in the tradition of Edgar Payne. Incredible clouds, sort of in the tradition of Maynard Dixon, right? Kind of a 1920s, 1930s feel, and a great, frame that's complementary to that same aesthetic. So this is the G. Russell Case, lot number 24. We'll start off at 7,000, 7,500. How about 8,000? Here we go at $8,000 next. 8,000 in the room, now 8,500. At 8,500, 8,500 there, now 9,000. At 9,000, ma'am, you're out. At 9,000, 8,500, and 9,000. At 9,000, they're in the lead. At 9,000, 8,500, and 9,000. At 9,000, don't want to miss you. At 9,000, 8,500, now 9,000. Everybody at 9,000, 8,500, and 9,000. You want to bid one more time, ma'am? At 9,000. At $9,000, 8,500, now 9,000. Might take it home. At 8,500, 9,000. At $9,000, this is an absolutely beautiful piece. At 9,000, 8,500 to 9,000. At 9,000, 9,000, we have a new bidder. We have a new bidder. Now 9,500. At 9,500, she's in the lead. 8,500 to 9,000. At 9,000, anyone said 9,000? At 9,000, 8,500 to 9,000. Anyone outside? At $9,000, this beautiful G. Russell Case. Just a beautiful 9,000. We have a bidder. Thank you for getting my attention. Now 9,500. 9,000 out in the courtyard. Now 9,500, y'all. At 9,500, 9,000, 9,500. Anyone else at 9,500? Appreciate y'all's support. This is such a great event. It's so cool that it's here in San Antonio. At 9,500, 9,000, 9,500. Fair warning at 9,500. Anyone else at 9,500? Selling. We have a bid? You're in the lead. 9,500, we have a new bidder out in the courtyard. Can you do 10 even? Okay, appreciate your bid. At 10,000, you're in the lead. Now 10,000, anyone else at 10,000, and that might take it at 10,000, 9,500 out in the courtyard. Now 10,000, fair warning at 10,000. Are we done? In-house, online, on the phone at 10,000, selling. Okay, sold, 9,500 out in the courtyard. Congratulations, what's your bid card? 87 bid paddle, thank you so much. Guys, we have one more, this is the last one. Yeah, this has been an amazing auction, thanks again. Okay, now number 25, here's another artist that kind of needs no introduction. Bonnie Maris. Bonnie Maris, here it is. No one does wolves quite like Bonnie Maris. I mean, this is it's a great American Western subject. She may be the very best. This is one of those paintings that you can look at it from 50 feet away, 20 feet away, or about 20 inches away. And it's amazing every time. You cannot walk by it without looking at it for a moment. Because the detail of the fur, the incredible naturalism of how all these wolves are interacting. And this is called Wolves Being Wolves. I have a quote that Tim Newton gave me from Bonnie. And this is incredible because this is her subject matter. And here's a quote about this painting. Bonnie says, "That painting is my legacy. It has my heart." That's pretty amazing, okay? So, here it is. Bonnie Maris's Wolves Being Wolves, an incredible piece. We'll start off here at 21, 22. How about 23,000, y'all? But 23,000, we got 22 to start off. We're bidding out 23,000 on the Bonnie Maris at 23,000 next. At 22 now 23, and you can all bid at 23 if you like it. 23,000. 22 now 23,000. At 21 at 2 now 22 now 23,000. Everybody 23,000. 22 now 23,000. Let you guys online catch up at 23,000. Okay, at 23,000. 22 now 23,000. Go ahead at 23,000, and this could be on your wall again. There's no way you'll pass it twice without looking at it every single time. It jumps off the wall. It absolutely has it. Whatever it is, it's got the X factor. Here it is. At 22, at 21, at 22, at 22,000, up to you at 22,000, 21 at 22,000, at 22,000, everybody 22,000. Raise your hand if you want to bid at 22,000, 21 at 22. Yikes, I'm surprised. At 22,000, at 22,000. Bonnie Maris's amazing masterpiece, Wolves Being Wolves, at 22,000. Out here in the courtyard at 22,000, you can bid right now at 22,000. This is the last item in the auction, guys. This is lot number 25. At 22,000, 22 now 20, sorry, 21 now 20,000, 21 now 22,000, at 22,000, 21 now 22,000. Anyone else at 22,000? At 22,000. Are you sure? 22, we have it in the room. Thank you, Mr. G. Appreciate it. Now 23, at 23,000, at 22, now 23, 22 in the room, now 23, at 23, 23, 24. 23 now 24, 24. Thank you. Now 25, at 25, 24 now 25, at 25,000, 24, 25, 26. 26 in the room. Now 27. 2650. Would you do 27? Thank you. I've got 27 in the room. All right, now 28. 27 in the room, now 28. 28. You guys got that? Okay. 27 in the room, now 28,000. Everybody, take a look at what we're doing here. This is a great price on a beautiful Bonnie Maris at just 28,000. Lot number 25. Here we go. At 28,000, I'm 27 with Mr. G here in the room. Now 28,000 one more time. At 28, imagine having this on your wall. At 28,000 once. Wow. At 28,000 twice. Are we done? At 28,000, fair warning. I can't help but mention the one that she had last year went over $100,000. I wasn't, neither here nor there. But just saying, this is 27, now 28,000 on beautiful Bonnie Maris Wolves at 28,000. Fair warning at 28,000. Selling. Okay. Sold. 27,000. Genther. 27,000. 30 bid paddle. 30. And that was it. That was a live auctioneer. And let's welcome back up President and CEO Liz Jackson. Liz.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you to all of our generous buyers. You are absolutely amazing. We just want to thank you so much for being here. If you can just give us a few more minutes, we have something really lovely we'd like to share with you. Everything that we are doing here tonight is what supports the Briscoe Western Art Museum's ability to provide programming for that next generation. We have been able to grow our children's educational programs over the past 2 years by 52%. So we are bringing in that next level of kiddos So we have one last thing we would like for you to do. If you could just be patient with us. We want to share something with you that we do here every day here at the Briscoe.
I remember hearing about museums, but I didn't really know what they were. We didn't go to places like that. My family was focused on what we needed: food, a home, getting by. Then when I was 12, I went on a field trip, seeing a museum for the first time. I remember walking through the galleries and everything felt alive. The colors, the brushstrokes, the stories. The way it made me feel, the ideas it inspired. I didn't know that a place like that existed. I remember thinking, maybe there's something out there for me too. I remember hearing about museums, but I didn't really know what they were. We didn't go to places like that.
What you just heard, that memory, that moment, that's me. I'm Christina Godinez Post, and before that field trip, I didn't know what a museum was. My family didn't have the means for visits like that. Without that opportunity, I may have never walked through those doors. But that one visit changed how I saw the world and what I believed was possible. It led me to a career in cultural institutions and to the Briscoe. Tonight, you can create that moment for another child. When you raise your paddle, you're not just supporting the field trip, you're opening a door to discovery, to confidence, to possibility. And for one child, it can change everything. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is what it's all about. You just heard it. One moment, one visit, one experience can change the trajectory of a life. And tonight you have the power to create that moment for a child who otherwise might never be able to walk through these doors. We're not talking about something abstract. We're talking about real children right here in our community who will step into the Briscoe for the very first time because of what happens in this room tonight. So let's get started. Will anyone give $2,500 to provide access for hundreds of students, field trips, transportation, admission? Who's in at $2,500? Thank you, right here, 192. 192 gives $2,500, very generous, thank you. Anyone else, just raise your bid pedal. 75 here in the front row for $2,500. 164 for $2,500, thank you very much. Makes a huge impact, as I say. 178 over here for $2,500. Wow, very, very cool. We're up to $10,000. Anyone else at just $2,500, guys? Think about how far your money goes. 70, thank you so much. Good to see you, and good to see you. As 70 bid paddle, 70 gives $2,500. Anyone else? $2,500 over here, 382, thank you, and thank you for all your bidding. 393, again, thank you for all your bidding and all your support over the years, my gosh. Anyone else at $2,500? Guys, at $2,500, again, boy, does it go a long way. At $2,500, anyone out in the courtyard at $2,500? Up to y'all, to $2,500 if you just raise your bid paddle at $2,500. By the way, your donations are tax exempt, so that helps. Raise your paddles high. Help today ensure that children today and for years to come experience the West. Heck yeah. Anyone else at $2,500? Okay. I'm going to ask one more time at $1,000. How about $1,000? Can anyone raise your paddle for $1,000? Thank you. 58 gives $1,000. 186 gives $1,000. Thanks to both of you. 188 gives $1,000. Thank you to both of you. Anyone else at $1,000? Over here, 91. Thank you, guys. 91 gives $1,000. Much appreciated. Anyone else at $1,000? Again, you guys out in the courtyard at $1,000. At $1,000, up to you, guys. At $1,000. Got it, someone. 166. Excuse me, 166. 166. Thank you. 166 gives $1,000. That means a heck of a lot. Anyone else? Out in the courtyard or in the room at $1,000. If you find it in your heart to do it right now at $1,000, it does go a long way, as I say. At $1,000, fair warning. Okay. Fair warning, I feel like I'm doing an auction. How about $500? I bet a lot of us can do $500. How about $500 for the Briscoe tonight? At $500, 360. Thank you very much. 360 gives $500. Anyone else? Raise your paddle at $500. 170. Thank you, 170 at $500. Appreciate that. Anyone else at $500? Someone out in the courtyard. 176 and 118. 176 and 118 both pledge $500 to the Briscoe's educational programs, because that's exactly what we're doing tonight, guys. Anyone else at $500? At $500? You don't have a bid paddle. Do you have a checkbook? All right, gentlemen over here, I don't know how we're recording these. You know. Okay, we're good. Okay, Liz says we're good. Okay, and 6'8", thank you for that. And 6'8" gives $500. Thank you so much. Good to see you. At 6'8" gives $500. Anyone else at $500? 180 right here. Thank you very much at $500. For the Briscoe, anyone else at $500? At $500. I'll ask one more time at $500. Are we done? Okay. A couple more steps, guys. So think about this and think about if you find it in your heart to do $250. At $250. Again, I bet a bunch of us can do $250. How about $250, everybody, at $250? Raise your bid pal if you want to do $250. No big deal. If you want to do it, $250. Anyone out here at $250? At $250. Nobody. I'll do $250. What the heck? You want to do $250? You don't have a paddle. Okay. Todd. All right, Liz knows. And then me, Rob Vogt. All right, at $250, anyone else? At $250? $250, fair warning. Okay, one more level, and you know what it is. At $100, we can all give $100. At $100, raise your bid paddle for $100. Won't even notice it, but boy, it'll go a long way. At $100, 90. Thank you very much for that. Anyone else at $100? Think about that. Just $100. Thank you very much. Robin Daniels. Robin Daniels gives $100. Very good. Thank you. 322 for $100. 322 out here in the courtyard. Anyone else at $100, guys? Just $100. Up to you at $100. All right. I know you guys will have multiple opportunities to keep giving, right, Liz? All right. Thank you so much for your generosity again. Thank you for your attention. This has been such an honor to be part of this. Again, Liz Jackson.